I've learned to measure distance between what I hope and what I see. I've learned to carry questions quietly. I've watched strength fail in silence, watched helpless nights go by, and I've learned how little power I have when I try. I didn't come with bold demands or confidence in who I am. I knew the limits of my standing before you. I've given orders, I've been answered, I've watched authority obeyed, but standing here before your mercy, I'm afraid. I am not worthy to ask you near, but I believe you hear me here. Just say the word and it will be done. You don't have to come this far, your will is enough. Just say the word, I trust who you are. I stand beneath your authority, even from afar. I've seen command shape human motion, watched fear respond to power and rank, but I have never seen compassion move this way. If you can speak across the distance, if love obeys your voice, then hope is closer than I thought. I rejoice. You marveled at my simple faith, not loud, not proud, not displayed. Just trust that rests in who you are, unashamed. You didn't cross the threshold, you didn't step inside, but healing traveled through your promise that night. Not by sight, not by proof, only trust in your truth. Just say the word and life will rise. I don't need to see it now to believe your power applies. Just say the word and I will stand, every fear beneath the mercy of your command. Teach my heart this kind of faith that doesn't need to see your face, to trust your voice above my fear, to know you're working even here when answers don't arrive in form, when healing doesn't look the same. Help me rest beneath the promise of your name. I am not worthy, but you are willing. Just say the word and I believe your authority is love, speaking life to me. Just say the word, I place my trust not in what I understand, but in who you are. You said the word and it was enough. I didn't mean to wander slowly. It happens step by step. One quiet choice, one careless moment, and I was lost. The voices I had trusted grew faint along the way. The path I thought would lead me home led me astray. The night came faster than I expected. The dark knew where I stood. Every sound became a question, every hope misunderstood. I called out names that couldn't answer, waited for a light, but all I heard was my own breathing in the night. I didn't know how far I'd gone. I only knew I was alone. But you kept searching through the hills and broken ground. You kept calling when I couldn't make a sound. You didn't stop, you didn't turn away. You came for me until you found me. I thought the flock would move on without me, that I was just one more. But you left the many in the safety to search for one. You walked the valleys of my fear, you stepped into my shame, and every place I tried to hide, you came. You didn't scold me when you saw me. You didn't count my steps. You lifted me upon your shoulders and let me rest. The weight I carried fell away as you rejoiced. Heaven echoed with the joy I heard in your voice. I was worth the leaving, I was worth the road. You kept searching when I had lost my way. You kept calling when I had nothing left to say. You didn't stop, you didn't give up on me. You came for me and carried me when I believed the lie that I'm too far gone. When shame tells me I don't belong, remind me of this story written into grace, that you don't wait for me to find my way. You go into the wilderness, you cross the broken land, you choose the lost, the weak, the one. You lift them with your hands. There is joy in heaven when one is found. You kept searching, and now I see I was never forgotten, I was never unseen. stepped into the boat so quietly, believing rest was near. The shore grew small behind us, the night was clear. You lay down without a word as waves began to rise. I watched the calm disappear from the sky. The wind spoke louder than our courage. The water filled the space. Every promise felt so distant in that place. We shouted prayers into the darkness, tried to wake you from the storm. Fear was louder than our faith that night. We said, do you even see us? As the boat began to break, but you stood and you spoke, and the chaos had to listen to the sound of hope. You said, peace, be still, and the storm obeyed. Even fear remembered who you are that day. The sea fell silent in a moment, like it knew your name. What we thought would take our lives bowed in shame. The wind laid down without resistance. The wave forgot their roar, and suddenly the storm outside was no more. You turned to us with gentle eyes, not anger, not control. You asked us where our faith had gone, into the cold. Not to shame our honest trembling, but to call our hearts back home, to trust the one who shares the boat always. If you are here, what should I fear? You stood and you spoke, and my heart began to listen to the sound of hope. You said, peace, be still, and my fear gave way to a calm I cannot explain. When the storms rise suddenly, without warning, without grace, when I feel you sleeping in my pain, teach me not to measure love by how quiet life appears, but by who is in the boat with me here. If you speak, the storm will listen. If you stay, I will survive. I don't need the sea to calm to trust your life. Who is this that even wind and waves obey him? You stood and you spoke, and the storm lost all its power at your word of hope. You said, peace, be still, and now I know that even in the waves I am not alone. Peace, be still. The road was lined with heavy silence. broken breath. Every step felt final, every word tasted like death. I walked behind what I had lost, with nothing left to say. Dreams folded into memories, carried away. I didn't ask for consolation, I didn't look around. Grief had closed every doorway to any sound. Then through the crowd you came toward me, against the tide of pain. While everyone else kept their distance, you stepped in. Before I prayed, before I spoke, you saw the tears I never showed. You had compassion before I cried. You had compassion when hope had died. You came closer to my deepest night, and sorrow didn't scare you away. You said, do not weep so gently, not like words people say. Not to hurry grief away, not to make it small or fade. You touched the place we called an ending, where life had already gone, and silence held its breath again and on. I watched my future stand upright, where loss had laid him down. Joy fell like rain without permission all around. You gave him back, not as a miracle, but as a gift of love. A reminder heaven still sees what breaks us. You didn't wait for faith to rise, you moved with mercy first in time. You had compassion when I was numb. You had compassion before belief had come. You interrupted funeral songs with living grace, and sorrow lost its final place. When I am walking behind coffins of prayers I thought had died, when I've accepted loss as truth and stopped asking why, remind me you still see me, even when I don't see you. That mercy moves toward broken hearts without being asked to. You are not afraid of mourning, you are not late to pain. You stand where hope feels finished and speak again. You had compassion and everything changed. Life returned when you called his name. You stepped into my deepest grief, and I believe you still have compassion on me. You see me, you come near. I came in quietly behind the table, no invitation, no place to stand. Every eye already judging, every whisper knew who I am. I carried years inside my breathing, stories I could never erase. But something in your presence told me this was a safe place.
watch her from a careful distance, counting sins they thought they knew. They measured worth by reputation, never seeing what you do. You didn't turn your face away from her, you didn't tighten up the room. You let her tears fall freely at your feet,
Where shame expected rejection, grace made room. She loved much because she was forgiven. She poured her heart where mercy lived. She loved much, not to earn your grace, but because she found it in your face. My tears became my only language when words could not explain. Every drop felt like a confession, every touch released the pain. I didn't come to justify myself, I didn't come to make it right. I just needed it to be near you for one night.
You've spoken to the silence gently, not to shame but to restore. You told her faith had saved her, she was not bound anymore. Where others saw a broken story,
You saw love that understood, that forgiveness opens hearts to love much. Not by fear, not by death, but by mercy she was saved. She loved much because you loved her first. You lifted shame and broke the curse. She loved much, and now she's free. Grace rewrote her history. If I come with all my failures, if I kneel without a name, will you meet me in my weakness just the same? When my past speaks louder than the hope I try to hold, let me remember this moment, let me be bold. To love you without calculation, to trust you without fear, to pour my heart out fully here. You know who I am, and you welcome me. She loved much, and now I see that story looks a lot like me. I love much because I'm forgiven. I am standing here because of him. Forgiven and free.